everyone, we are bringing back a segment that I had a great time doing a few years ago, but I was unable to finish at the very last second. I started a series a few years ago where I reviewed or did a retrospective on one horror-themed film a day for the month of October, and I was doing super well until one of the last days while I was working on an assignment for my VFX class in college, and when I tried to adjust the screen, my computer did this. So I never finished the whole month, and it's eaten away at me ever since. Thankfully, my professor gave me an extension on that assignment, but I was still unable to edit any videos, so we're gonna try it again. And we are kicking things off with a bang, with a childhood staple of mine, Monster House. Monster House was one of those products of the mid-2000s where, for whatever reason, Robert Zemeckis had an obsession with making the most terrifying motion capture animation films in the history of the medium. But there is a real singular look to this one that almost functions as a fusion of motion capture and then a stop-motion texture to the environments. It's uncanny valley and holds up about as well as your grandmother's hips, but there's so much personal nostalgia for me in pretty much every scene and joke therein.
Homicide!
Jarek, where are your parents?
My dad's at the pharmacy and my mom's at the movies with her personal trainer.
It has been a long time since I laughed at a childhood movies joke as hard as I did at that one on this most recent watch. I mean, let's look at the legacy cast members of this too. You've got Kevin James, Nick Cannon, Steve Buscemi, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Jason Lee, Kathleen Turner, Catherine O'Hara, Fred Willard, and Napoleon frickin' Dynamite here in this movie. That's another thing that I missed from this era. Star-studded casts in completely ridiculous animated movies that somehow still manage to have a charm beyond, oh, isn't it funny we got Michelle Yeoh in the martial arts dog movie, is a lost art. It's a shame that Sam Lerner didn't do a whole lot after this, because his work as Chowder definitely has some roots of comedic genius in there somewhere, but it seems like he's had a bit of success as a producer, most recently being an EP on Drop earlier this year. And there are still some moments here that genuinely creep me out a bit as an adult. Aside from how horrifying the animation obviously is, the environment itself feels like something out of an abandoned COD Nuketown or something. There's like no extras in this thing unless a shot specifically calls for it, and it seems like these kids are the only people that inhabit the entire town at any given time. Not sure how intentional that was, but it did have an effect on me, and also this shot always made me look away from the portable DVD player in the back of my mom's Ford Expedition growing up, and it still gave me the shakes a little bit on this watch. I also forgot how much the score for this completely rips. It's composed by Douglas Pipes, who only has a handful of other credits, all of them seemingly horror-related, and then Barbie, Mariposa, and the Fairy Princess, for whatever reason. The main theme for the film is so catchy, and there are several other cues throughout that really do invoke classic Midwestern horror, while really maintaining a sense of adventure and, all in all, straight lightheartedness. It becomes an action movie in the final 15 minutes or so as well, and while it's certainly a jarring tonal departure, the actual staging of the climax is kind of spectacular, especially considering that it was all shot on a giant metallic stage with minimalistic replicas of everything. The flow of it all is commendable. For this being nearly 20 years old with not much of a reference point prior to it, it's funny watching seasoned actors discuss how much they clearly hated the experience at first.
It was a little disconcerting doing it because I'm just not used to working that way, and I think so much of what I do as an actor is, I get so much from wardrobe and props, and here everybody wore the same thing.
The process certainly allows for more freedom, in theory, of blocking and camera movement and lighting continuity and all that, but for the performers, it's clearly a giant challenge. Looking back on the film, too, after a bit of reflection, the script deserves some additional credit as well, because there are a few key uses of Chekhov's gun here that, with the improper talent involved, would likely be discarded entirely. The lore behind the house, I also felt was weirdly kind of sweet. I mean, it's bizarre, and I'm sure there's some weird codependency, Stockholm Syndrome-esque discussions we could probably have about it, but it's also just a house that uses trees and arms and legs and walks around like a kid on crutches, so come off it. I highly recommend keeping a quote book for this movie the next time you watch it, because there's obviously a ton of humor here that went over my head as a kid that I'll probably be quoting for a good while now that I've seen it again.
Listen, Z, I don't know how to tell you
Your
this.
boyfriend has most likely been eaten alive.
Sherry Clausen.
And if you're one of those people who can't handle full-blown horror, I'm happy to say that for me, Monster House has held up incredibly well. Thank you guys for coming back to this with me. I'll catch you tomorrow. The next film isn't as light and breezy, so don't expect another childhood brain rot classic for a while. Thank you again for watching. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.